There we go. Here we are in episode 17 of Roland Pruitt's Kaiju Review. I'm Roland Pruitt, that's me. And this is our Kaiju Review. And also, our opening credits is a wonderful homage to Soup Nation, which they don't do anymore. In any case, we're going to do Son of Godzilla on this particular episode. And I'm going to bring up my assistants. Anastasia and Professor Walnutt.
Hello.
HB?
Greetings, everyone. Thank you.
I'm glad to be here. I thought we were co-host, not assistant.
Well, yeah, you are co-host, yes.
Okay, thank you. And also, dear friends, I feel I know you both intimately.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, we're good
Yes.
friends.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yes, it's not just all colleagueship. I feel a definite warmth between all of us, and this threesome is beautiful.
Well, it's awfully nice of you to say.
So thank you very much. You can always say my dear friends or my, I don't know. There could be because
my dear friends. Yeah, all right.
Okay, because I feel we're very dear friends.
Even though we're in different parts of the world.
Well, that won't be that way always. I'm wearing my cowboy hat to explain. I want to be closer.
Well, okay, very good. We are going to talk about the Son of Godzilla, spelled Manila, which is really a place in the Philippines, and in the dubbing of American films, or at least one American film, Minya is the name of the Son of Godzilla in Revenge of Godzilla, which is coming up a little later. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our timeline. We go from the beginning to the end. I'm amazed this is a Criterion Collection film now.
Yes.
Why do you say that? Do you think it's beneath the level Criterion is usually operating at?
It's not the usual level, that they go for. I'm glad that they've chosen most of the Godzilla movies for the Criterion Collection. I am, and especially Son of Godzilla, which is a very kind of low budget Godzilla movie. It's just very surprising to me. I like it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of a surprise that they have included this in their canon of classic movies.
Well, I think they recognize the cultural significance of these films and their place in cinematic history and Japanese culture. The
Japanese culture, yeah.
Yes. So.
But when you think Godzilla, you think the original Godzilla, or you think King Kong versus Godzilla, or you think Destroy All Monsters, but you don't think. Usually, you don't put Son of Godzilla high on the list. Anyway.
Yes, it is. It is a bit sillier than, but
All right. Again, the budget was low on this one. They couldn't even get Akira Ifukube to do music, so they got Maro Sato to do the music. Jun Fukuda was the director. In this first scene, we see a plane, and they're experiencing some, I don't know, kind of strange waves on their monitors and things. The pilot is actually Susumu Kurobi, who turned into or became famous for being Ultraman, the first Ultraman. Also there as his co-pilot is Kazuo Suzuki. These guys are listed wrong, by the way, in IMDb.
No.
They're listed as the wrong people in the cockpit. The navigator is Chitaro Togin, who's been in a lot of Godzilla movies. They all have. And Wataru Oma is also there as the radio operator. And again, they're experiencing some interference. Let's say interference. And they're wondering what it's coming from. So they're hoping it's not like a devil's triangle kind of thing.
Yes.
So there's Chitaro Togin talking to the captain. Hey, we're experiencing some interference here. And it's Godzilla. They almost run right into him.
Yes. With the googly eyes.
The googly eyes. That is the water suit for Godzilla. It has the googly eyes, yeah. But the Godzilla design in this film is rather different from other designs. The head is very small. It's very small cranium. This one is not that design. This is the water suit again. But yeah, you'll see what I mean when we get to it. Evidently, there was such an outcry from the fans that they decided to change the look again and make it look a little different. Make it look a little more like the previous Godzilla in Godzilla versus Ebirah. So they're wondering, hey, I guess we're getting that interference from Godzilla. I wonder where he's going, And they said, oh, there's an island close by here, and blah, 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 blah. And again, that all works into the plot of the film. Yeah, they mentioned the island's name.
Soul Gel.
Yeah, and then we get the opening credit, Son of Godzilla.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the Japanese card. I actually took the screenshots for this from the Japanese version.
Oh, okay, good.
Again, you just get better quality. Usually when you try to download, oops, did I say that? When you try to find
we didn't hear it.
It's in English. It's a lower quality version, like a VHS lower DVD level copy.
Right. Yes.
So there's the island. Looks very different from all the other Mothra Islands and Godzilla. Monster Islands that we see in other movies from the series. It's a little more jagged. And we get a lot of really nice shots in the opening credits. I had to shoot between the credits. A nice little beach. They're in a nice little lagoon. That looks kind of like Gilligan's Island right there.
Yeah. Yeah, actually it does. You almost expect to see the minnow sort of beached right there.
Come look at little buddy.
Yeah. Skipper, there's a big giant lizard heading our way.
There's a giant monster coming in the lagoon. Again, a lot of greenery. It's a beautiful island.
Very, very
it's
lush.
A beautiful tropical island. Yes. But what we don't know is that there are there is a giant spider on the island. His name is Kumunga. In the English dubs, sometimes he's called Spiga.
Right.
And there are other names for him as well, but Kumunga is the official name from Toho. This here is you recognize him right away, Akihiko Harata. He's playing Fujisaka. He's a radio operator for Dr. Kusumi and his crew. And then we meet some of the other crew, and we see the base there that they've set up. They're doing an experiment. They're doing weather experiments. And Furukawa, played by Yoshio Tsuchiya, has had just about enough of this place. He wants to go home. And he's kind of flipping out. He's got a little cabin fever.
Little island fever.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, it's hot. I want to go home.
They don't have Marianne and Ginger on the island with them. So.
No.
So
but they'll have something better later on. But anyway.
Yes, but that hasn't come yet.
I know.
There is Kenji Sahara as Morio. Not Mario, but Morio. And he is another one of the team. 6, 7, 8. There's 7 people on the team, I believe, and then they have 2 people kind of come into the fold. So the sets are minimal. They're not really overly done. Again, budget. You'll find that the monsters in this, there are monsters called the Kamacuras. They're giant praying mantises. They're actually more puppet than they are suitmation. And there's the doctor, Dr. Kusumi. And he's the main controller of this weather experiment that they're doing. They're going to try to make it snow in a tropical region. That's their goal. And again, Akihiko Harata is the number 2, and he's also the radio operator. And he is the doctor's right-hand man. And he, of course, is Dr. Serizawa from the first Godzilla film. And he's been in just about every Godzilla film in the Showa series somewhere.
Yes.
He's played in a lot of them. So a plane comes overhead, and they say, hey, wait a minute, we're not supposed to get supplies for a while here. What's going on? And a parachute drops out of the plane, and it's a guy. And he is a photographer who's trying to get, he's a reporter photographer who's trying to get a scoop on this secret weather mission. And his name is Goro Maki.
Right. Well, it must not have been that secret if he if he knows about it. Why is it up on the island?
Akira Kubo is the actor's name. He's again in a lot of the Godzilla films, or a lot of the Toho Kaiju films, I should say. He's in a few Godzilla films. He was in Monster Zero as the nerdy boyfriend who has the gadget. He's in Destroy All Monsters. He's the lead actor in that. He's the heroic lead in Destroy All Monsters in a couple of films. So actually, next film, right? Yeah, Destroy All Monsters is the next one.
Oh,
so he's also in Gorath. He's the lead, one of the leads in Gorath, which is one we skipped over because it's really more about a meteor that's going to hit the Earth than it is about monsters. There is a giant walrus, Maguma, but it's only in the movie for a couple of minutes, so it doesn't last very long. So we decided to skip over that one. We may come back and do it later, but I decided it wasn't as important as the regular Godzilla movies and
right.
Toho monster films. So he says, "This is my card. I'm not leaving, and I'm not going to eat until you allow me to stay. Until you invite me to stay, and that's it. And I just want to photograph what you're doing, and take notes." And the doctor's like, "No, you have to go now," and they leave him. And he just sits there at the table, and he doesn't eat anything and doesn't drink anything that I know of. And finally, they come out. They put food out for him. And he says, "No, I'm going to go on a hunger strike until you agree to let me stay." And he doesn't eat. And finally, the professor comes out and goes, "Oh, all right. You can stay. You can photograph what we're doing." And I think he did that because Fujisaka probably talked him into it.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you can take your life preserver off now.
Well, you thought they were going to throw him back in the ocean,
Yeah.
So immediately after they say, "All right, you can stay," he starts drinking and eating. I mean, scarfing it down. It's just funny.
A little bit of shtick there.
And then Furukawa freaks out again. And then they have there's a creature that's kind of coming around the camp. And it's one of the Kamakuras, and it's actually human size. It's like 6 foot tall. And Goro actually gets photographs, tries to get photographs of it in the woods there. Its eyes are glowing. And they're like, "Yeah, we don't know why, but stuff grows real big on this side. We think there's some radioactivity from the American testing." And again, this is pointing to the Americans, ruining everything in that region by doing atomic testing there. And again, we haven't gotten to Kumonga yet, who's very big. That's good punch. Um, so the next day, they're trekking around, and Goro wears very bright, like Hawaiian shirts. That's his thing. He likes that. And he's, talking to the doctor, the professor, about what he's doing, and the professor's, telling him what they're doing, what they're up to, and what the goal is. And he's also said, they also said if you stay, you're gonna have to cook for us because we don't cook very well. We're not very good cooks. So he goes out and he gets some seasoning. He gets some plants for seasoning and some greens. And that's when he sees Rico, who's actually named Sayako, but her nickname is Rico. And she's played by Bibari Maeda. Hey, what do we have here?
Mm-hmm.
So he calls out to her, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's watching me swim. Creepy!" And she dives down under the water, and he doesn't see her again. He tries to get a picture of her, and he doesn't get a picture. She's appalled. He's watching her swim. How rude! So he tells the gang about that at dinner. They evidently seem to like the dinner, but they poo-poo his, you saw a beautiful woman on the island. Yeah, right, whatever. They do one of those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And the professor says, well, I hope there's nobody else on the island because when we do the experiment, it could be dangerous to them. And that's important because Goro is going to go try to save her later when they do the experiment. And he's going to get caught out there when the experiment goes awry. And of course, Furukawa has to put his 2 cents worth in about, I hope we get this damn thing done soon so we can go home. Because he's ready to go. He is ready to go. The doctor smokes a pipe during the entire operation. So,
well, that's how you know he's the professor.
That's very professorly.
Exactly. He should be wearing glasses as well and a very cool hat. So.
He does have a cool hat that he wears. He does have one of those.
He does. Yes, he does.
Yeah. He has one of those mountain climbing hats.
Yeah,
he does. He had it in a scene or two back here.
Right.
So,
yes.
Okay, so they're going to try to do the experiment. So they're all set and ready. But Goro is like, instead of photographing, he's trying to find this girl. He doesn't want her to get hurt. So he's trying to. His hat not so cool. Looks like a little kid's hat. So it's 11 o'clock. It's time to go, and he's out there, and he's going to get stuck in that mess. So hopefully he doesn't freeze to death if they start snowing on the island. If it starts snowing on that, so they open up a little thing there. This is Subaru's IG Subaru's special effects. Making the little buildings. He made little models of each of the buildings that they're working around, and he puts a little balloon in the middle of one of them, and they send a little balloon up, weather balloon. And once it gets up into the clouds, they're going to detonate it, and there's a little bucket underneath it that has something that's going to help them with the experiment, some radiation kind of something.
Right.
So everything's going fairly smoothly. I don't think they realize Goro is out there, so they're not freaking out.
No, they do.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, somebody, in fact, when I can't remember if it's the professor or somebody says, "Hey, where's Goro?" Oh, he left he left a while ago. So, well, he better get back here, or otherwise. So they know he's out there.
He might freeze to death.
Exactly.
So they start to get. Actually, that hasn't happened yet. They detonate the first balloon, and it seeds the cloud with a certain substance, and then they have kind of a spray that goes out the top of the towers.
Yes,
they got two towers there.
Silver iodine to seed the clouds. Iodine.
So that's happening as well. And again, nice little special effects from Aiji Subaraya. Goro's still out there, doesn't know what to do at this point. I gotta find her. Then they send up another balloon. That's all part of the experiment. And then they start getting the interference that the guys got at the beginning of the film. And we know it's because of Godzilla, but they don't know that. So they're getting this interference, and it's interference. They cannot connect to the balloon, the other balloon that has gone up into the stratosphere, and it goes up above the clouds before they can detonate it. Before they finally get controls back and they can detonate it. And that's wrong. That's not good for the experiment. So instead of cold, a kind of a heat hurricane hits the island and starts to melt the plants and causes a hot mud flow around the island. And it's radioactive, and it's not good.
Nope.
The island is a mess now because of it, because the experiment failed miserably.
Yes. Sometimes experiments go awry.
Yeah. So they're protected because they're in the buildings, but Goro, how he survived, I think he finds a cave.
I don't. Yeah, it's never really explained how he survives. He just shows up again.
Right, because he does find a cave in the film, but we might have probably later.
That's later. That's where he finally meets Reiko. But no, Rico, yes. But they don't really explain how. Did he dive under the water? Did he find a cave? He just shows up again. It's very, very strange.
Yes. So
he's just taking
like
pictures.
Nothing ever happened.
Exactly.
Taking photographs of the professor. The professor's pissed off because his project failed.
Yes. Oh yes, he does have a very cool bucket hat on. Yes.
Yeah. So cool little mountain climbing and shades.
Shades, yes.
So then one of those Kamakuras shows up, and it's gigantic now. They also call these Gimantus.
Right, yes.
Or it's written in places as Gimantus in some places. But the Kamakuras, there's 3 of them here on this island. At least 3. And this one comes up to the professor and Goro, and they have to hide. And again, these are more kind of puppet than suitmation. They're on wires, and they did that with Manda as well. And I'm not sure if there's somebody in the Kumonga outfit or not. It's big enough where there could be somebody, but I think it's on wires as well.
I think so, because it just doesn't seem like somebody could fit in that outfit with the legs.
Well, not the legs, but in the outfit. But okay, so anyway, and again, why would you put him in the outfit if he's not working the legs? So the Gimantus heads over to a big dirt mound that's formed on the island, or maybe it's it was bigger before, but it was kind of melted down to a smaller mound by the heat wave hurricane thing that hit. So then we see that there's 3 of them, and they're all picking at this little mountain rock. And Goro's getting pictures, and the professor's like, "Oh my God, what is it? This is amazing!" They're giant mantises, praying mantises. And then they uncover an egg. What could it be? And they start poking at it. And it's evidently a very strong egg because they don't wear it down. It's nighttime already, and they haven't worn that damn thing down yet. So Furukawa is like, we're going to do this again? We're going to stay here and do this again? He wants to go home. He wants to go home to his wife and kids. So yeah, they're talking about doing the experiment again at dinner time, and he's not cool with the idea. He wants to get the hell out of there. Why do we come back in 6 months? So the others are like, awkward. And then they see Rico, and she has stolen one of Goro's shirts. She stole it off the washing line. And now everybody sees Goro, and they're all like, oh, hey, now we can stay. We got a girl here now. I should
Exactly.
Yes.
See, I told you so. I told you there was a girl. See.
How did she survive? So she tells him the story about her father. Her father was a scientist. He came to the island to do some experimenting, and she's his daughter. She grew up in the island. When he passed away, she just kind of got stuck there. So the Gigantuses are still working on the egg the next morning.
They're stubborn.
Shell. Yeah, haven't gotten through that shell, but they want what's inside. Again, Goro's getting some great pictures, and then the egg breaks. Finally, and it's a baby Godzilla.
So cute.
Baby Godzilla bum bum ba-dum ba-dum, baby Godzilla bum bum ba-dum ba-dum, baby Godzilla bum bum ba-dum ba-dum, baby Godzilla. Daddy Godzilla bum bum ba-bum ba-bum, Daddy Godzilla bum bum. Sorry. You guys know Baby Shark, right? Anyway, of course you do.
Yes.
So
much to my dismay.
He's very soft and spongy, and the Kamakuras are about to eat. They worked long and hard on this egg. And Furukawa completely flips out, runs to the beach. He's going to swim home. And Fujisaka goes after him and stops him. And just as he stops him, they look out and, whoa! Big giant wave coming towards him, and it's Godzilla. And that's the water suit again. And we have a nice little tune here by Sato. And this was later used also in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla as the fight song for King Caesar. And it's used as the fight song for this film, actually. Whenever there's a fight between Godzilla and another creature, they use this song. It's Sato's fight song. So nice little double shot there of them running back up the beach, back to the camp, and Godzilla coming up on shore. Once Godzilla gets on shore and is out of the water, the suit changes, and we get the little head Godzilla. Now, my theory on this, everybody knows my theory on this. This is not the Godzilla that we normally know. This is the mother. And her motherly instinct has heard her baby crying out. That's what actually the interference was. It was the baby Godzilla crying out to its mother. And this is the mother, because we only get her in this film.
In the
this design, I should say.
In the English, I watched the English dub of this film, and they call him. They say father.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the baby's father. So. But. So
that's
I don't know.
Dub, though.
Yes, exactly. That's the English dub.
They may have said it in the Japanese version too, but that's their opinion.
What do they know? They just made the movie.
I think this is the mother. I really do.
Yes.
And the Godzilla that we get in later films is actually the father.
Yeah, it does look very different from.
Looks extremely different.
Yeah, so you may be correct.
So that's my theory, anyway. I also have a theory about the puppy face Godzilla from Godzilla versus Megalon. I think that's Minya grown up. Yeah. So, and again, the face gets a little rougher when they do the next film, and the next two films where he's up against Mechagodzilla. So I think it's Minya, this Minya, grown up.
Grown up. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. Yes, yes.
So that's my theory for what it's worth. But yeah, look at that small cranium. Wow.
Yeah.
And the teeth are a little different too. They're kind of pointed inward more to the mouth. So Godzilla shows up, gives the mighty roar, and the Kamakura is just about to eat. They turn around, and there's like, well, wait a minute. There's three of us and one of that. So come on, let's go. So they attack, and they are thoroughly thrashed and soundly beaten to a pulp by Godzilla very quickly, I might add.
Yes, he body slams him like a WWE wrestler.
Yes, indeed. Minya is very cute. Mama! He says mama, and he says mama.
Oh, he does. That's right, he does.
Mama! So, and again, look at that face. That's a motherly kind of look. That's the maternal instinct right there. So I think it's a girl, Godzilla. Why not? There's several Godzillas. We know that. So one of the other Kamakuras tries to fly away, and Godzilla zaps it with the atomic breath, fries it, comes right down to the ground, and the other one manages to get away. The third one manages to get away. I'm going to zap you again just to make sure.
Yeah, he fries two of them and one escapes.
Double tap.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so there he goes.
Get away.
Run away, run away.
It can leap about so. Look at the bones. I was talking about that scene with a friend the other day. The great lines that Tim had. Mm-hmm. It'll do you. It's a great scene. The rabbit. It is the rabbit. All right. So one of them gets away. And the Godzilla just walks off and leaves the baby.
this is what she, I'm going to say she, looks at the baby, shakes its head, and like walks off like, oh no, that's no son of mine.
Maybe it is a father.
But he does exactly. See, that's what I'm thinking. It's like no mother would do that.
The baby crawls after it.
Yes.
And this is when Rico feeds it these giant, or actually they're small to Minya, but they're kind of like giant grapefruit.
Yes.
And I know that this is a real fruit. I've seen it before in Asia, but I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry. But she starts throwing them, chucking them up to the baby and feeding it. And then the mother comes back. It's like, hey, wait, where are you? Aren't you following me? So it's this scene or a later one where the Minya actually jumps up on its tail and it drags it off.
Yeah.
On it rides the tail.
I feel like in the scene, the Godzilla comes back and it's like admonishing little Minya here for hobnobbing with humans. Like, no, you stay away from those humans. They're bad news.
They're trouble.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yeah, it crawls up on the tail and then off they go. So the next time we see Minya, it's actually the Minya that is in all the rest of the movies. It's grown a bit.
It grows very, very quickly.
Yeah. So this is where Goro falls into her cave, right? Rico's cave. And he tells her, oh, yeah, this sure looks good on you. You can keep it.
And she's ready to cut a bitch.
She's ready to cut him. She really is. She's kind of a crazy girl. She's been on the island by herself for a long time.
You're a rubber.
So, no, I'm not. This is my shirt. Yeah, silliness. It's just
I
establishing
don't.
their relationship.
I don't
They
think
become.
I don't think Owen Wilson dubbed that voice.
Oh no, it's my shirt. Anastasia, do you like Owen Wilson? Maybe not.
Apparently not.
Anastasia, are you there? No. Okay, so let's move forward. Probably eating dinner. um, okay, so Raiko left. That's right. Before didn't tell everybody her story until now. That's right. He finds her in her cave and brings her back. They know they saw her when she was at the camp when she was stealing his shirt and stuff. But yeah, she got away. That's right. Sorry. So
I was going to mention she has her father's diary,
right,
and that's how they know that. Right. He was a famous archaeologist or something, and
yeah. And by the way, there's a giant spider on the island. Actually, I don't think she says that until later. You gotta be careful here. There's a giant spider down there. What? You didn't tell us that before? You didn't tell us we should have gotten the hell off this island like weeks ago?
We've got giant praying mantises, now a giant spider. We've got Godzilla.
There's still a giant praying mantis somewhere around here, and Godzilla, and he's got a son. So yeah, there's the praying mantis coming back, Kamacuras. By the way, guns don't seem to work on it.
No.
Surprise, surprise. I'm hungry. That's how a praying mantis would sound if he was giant and had a voice.
Yes.
Good talk. So they're shooting at it, and it's not. Nothing's happening. And then it just goes off. It decides to give up on on eating the humans, and it just kind of goes off to the side. Like, I'm done with you. I can eat you anytime. So nearby at the lava lagoon, Minya is playing now by jumping over Godzilla's tail. Godzilla's tail is moving back and forth like a cat's tail now, and Minya is jumping over it like a jump rope kind of thing. And that's how he's playing. And
typical kid behavior. He wants to play, and
true that. And Godzilla's like, just let me sleep.
Right, trying to take a nap.
Just let me sleep, damn you, kid. This boulder pillow sucks.
Exactly.
I'm having a hard time. Who's not having a hard time is Goro, who's running around frolicking with Rico. Their relationship is blossoming.
Yes.
As you would say.
I would say that, yes.
So they run around the corner, and Minya pops his head up, and she thinks it's Godzilla, and she puts her, she cowers, and then it turns out to be Minya, and she's like, oh, hey, he's my friend. He's like my dog. And she starts feeding him. And at first he's like, really? What? Dad? And then Godzilla shows up. What did I tell you about those humans?
That's exactly what it looks like he's saying. Or she. I told you, stay away from them. They're bad news.
Now, again, they've cut back on the budget by not having to build huge sets of cities that they're going to be trampling. But look at the little palm trees and stuff. I mean, that's pretty intricate.
Yes.
That's pretty good stuff. And Minya throws a little temper tantrum. Again, they're doing the whole kid activity thing to make kids happy and laugh. And of course, parents take kids to see these movies and they laugh. And so Godzilla leaves Minya there.
No, he drags he drags him off. He grabs his
Oh,
tail.
does he
and
drag him off here? I thought
Yes.
he left there, and one of the Gamakuras shows up. I'm getting my scenes mixed up.
Yeah, no, he,
So
oh,
okay, I
enough
dragged him off by the tail.
enough of that. Yeah. It brays like a donkey sometimes. Yes.
It does when it's having a tantrum.
Yes, it's very odd.
So now, what Furukawa feared, they all have island fever now. Real island fever. It's a real fever. And they don't know what to do about it. And luckily, the doctor doesn't have it, and Fujisaka doesn't have it. And Riko goes, "Oh, well, this has happened here before. We used to get this red liquid from the Red Lagoon, and that works. That's a nice little cure for it." So they go there, and of course, more shtick with Godzilla being a parent, trying to teach Minya how to use his atomic breath. And Goro and Riko are watching. So Godzilla uses his breath, says, "Okay, now you." And Minya does a little smoke ring. Boop, 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 boop. Does a little smoke ring. Godzilla hits him over the head and then does it again. There, that's how you do it. And Minya wants to do it. He does this little thing where he does a little dance before he does it again, and he does another smoke ring. Do, 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 do. But then Godzilla steps on his tail, and he does the right thing. And Godzilla pats him on the head for it.
It's very proud, yes.
You can tell he's proud, or she's proud, or whatever. So they're thinking, wow, that's kind of cool. That's fun.
Oh, that's adorable.
Or shag later.
Exactly.
That's why Anastasia left. She doesn't want to hear us talk about these guys like this.
If you leave Randy, baby.
By the way, this is an adult show. It's not for kids, unlike the movie. Yeah. You might hear sexual content. You might hear us say naughty words. Yes. That's true. Because that's what we do sometimes. Just saying. All right. So they're watching, and life goes on. As should the timeline.
Well, they get the red liquid. So yes.
Yes. And they give it to they put it in seashells and give it to the gang, and the gang starts to get better almost immediately. You can see the results right away.
Magical Kool-Aid.
Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah. That's what it is. What is that character's name? Is it just Kool-Aid? Is that his name?
Yeah, I believe they just called him the Kool-Aid Man.
He just whizzes in that lagoon and it's secure.
That's it. Yes.
Oh, yeah. He breaks through the wall like a kaiju. All right, so they're all there in their Beefeater shirts. Hey, baby, bring some over here to me. And
that's what Nick Adams would have said.
Yeah, come on over here, give me some of that. So she's out there collecting more greens for dinner. I guess she's the cook now. Hey, you're a woman, cook for us. Again,
They're making some sandwich.
That was the time. Make a sandwich. And then a Kamakura shows up. And where she got that hat and why we haven't seen it in this film until this moment, I don't know. And anyway, she stole it from somebody. Probably Furukawa. That's his crazy hat.
Yes.
So she calls out to Minya because that's the only way she's going to get saved. She's going to get rescued from this Kamakura. So sure enough, Minya shows up. Tries to act like Godzilla. And the Kamakura is tilting his head like, what? Huh? We're not the big one. You're little and we're trying to eat. And smoke ring time. And that's annoying. You know, as a kaiju, it's really annoying to get smoke in the face. The Kamacuras moves forward, not deterred. Hits Biya, causing him to spin around on his heels. Rico gets knocked out. She's there on the ground by his feet. And then Goro shows up. He runs to Rico, despite the fact there's, I don't know if you could call that a fight. Pretty one-sided. Where Minya is getting terrorized by the much taller Kamacuras. And then Godzilla shows up and immediately hits him with the fire atomic breath. End of fight.
Beat up on my kid, will you?
Now this time the Kamacuras doesn't catch fire.
Yeah.
So their things are getting stronger. The atomic mutations is making them stronger. So the thing flies off. Okay, I'm not going to stick around and test this theory any longer. I'm getting out of here. I do not want to burn up like my brothers and sisters. This is where they're heading back to camp, and Rico tells Goro about Kumonga. There's giant spider down there. We got to be careful. And there's
there
Kumonga sleeping down there in the bottom of the cavern. Chasm. What do we want to call it? Now, the interesting thing is Kumonga's eyes change color. Sometimes they're blue. Sometimes when he's shooting his web at things, they turn kind of a purplish red. So they make their way around that the ledge there, and they kick some rocks down there. And Kumonga starts to wake up and come after them. I think. Yeah, he's shooting his web at him. They try cutting the web, and the web's too sticky and nasty. He ends up burning it with his his lighter, cigarette lighter, because everybody had cigarette lighters back then. It was cool to smoke.
Right. Yes.
In the mid '60s, mid to late '60s. So yeah, he ends up burning through the web with his lighter. He's got a Jerry Lewis lighter. With the big flame. Lady, hey lady, get away from the web, lady. Goro has become Jerry Lewis now.
Apparently, yes.
And be careful of the hat and my yellow shirt. So they go back into a little crevice there in the mountain. It just kind of conveniently shows up behind them. And Kumonga tries to dig at him with one of his claws, and tries to dig him out. Doesn't work. They stab the claw with Rico's knife. And then they manage to climb up the wall to an opening up in the ceiling. Then they get away. And he thinks they're still in there, and he keeps coming after him and spitting web and that kind of stuff. Hey, look, he's a dumb spider. He's an idiot. He doesn't realize we're up here. Oh, shit, he's looking. Run away. So, they bring him back to camp. They don't realize it, but he follows him back to camp. He does. And sprays the opening of the cave that all the people are at. And he's outside the main opening of the cave. And they're like, oh, geez, now we're stuck here. Thanks, Goro. And a claw comes in and tries to kill him. And they finally, the radio was busted. And they, Fujisaka managed to get the radio working again. And he finally gets a sub and says, hey, can you come and pick us up? We're going to do the experiment one last time, and then we're going to try to get the hell off this island because there's a bunch of kaiju here. And the sub says, yeah, we'll pick you up at blah, 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 at whatever time. So now they've got to get back to the camp and do the experiment. And Rico helps them. There's a back way out of the cave, I think.
Yes.
So they have to do something to get ready for the. They have to put some kind of satellite or something on the cliff to help with the experiment, so that they don't get the interference from baby Godzilla Minya. And we get to see them, in bathing suits.
Mm-hmm.
Kumonga runs into, or I should say, Minya runs into Kumonga, and that's not good. And Kumonga starts to spray it, spew. See his eyes, how they're kind of reddish purple now?
Yeah.
When he spews his web at other kaiju, yeah, his eyes kind of turn that color. So now the cave is starting to crumble because the monsters are fighting right over it. So rocks are coming out of the ceiling and, almost conking people over the head. So like, we got to hurry up and get this thing moving. We got to get this operation going. Dun, 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 dun. Little Sato music. So they're moving forward. There's a couple of the machines are there in the cave. And then, of course, there's the stuff in the camp that they need to get ready, which they do. And meanwhile, as that is happening, Kumonga is terrorizing Minya. And then one of the Kamakura shows up. Or the only Kamakura shows up, the last one, I should say. They're back at camp now. But there's a lot of monster fighting going on around, so they got to listen to all that crap.
Yeah.
And now Rico and Goro are getting the inflatable raft ready for the crew. That's going to take like 9 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 people. That little raft.
They better hope this submarine shows up.
Yeah. Don't poke a hole in it. We'll all go down quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Here's where the Kamakura shows like, hey, what are you doing? You want to share? Again, I give Kamakuras strange voices. So the Kamakuras decides, hey, this guy will wait. He's an idiot. I'll spew you with my web and get you before you can get away. And then I'll eat proper tonight.
Right. Spiga here or whatever. It's like, finally, some food. Now, I can only assume that the giant spider was eating the Kamakura before they became giant sized, and which is why there's only like 3 of them left.
That's a very good hypothesis. It could also eat other animals that are in the jungle, in the forest. Right. There's probably, big cats and I don't know. In the Pacific, I mean, do they have like caribou or or any kind of deer-like critters in the woods?
So. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, anyway, any critters, they're bigger than a dog. It can eat them. And like you said, there are radioactive bugs on the island. We've established that, and any of those that get caught in his web, yeah. So now we see the true extent of his power. Kumonga has a big like needle that comes out of his mouth that he injects toxin into, or nerve toxin into his victims so that they're paralyzed. They can't move. Mm-hmm. And then he can come back to them and suck the life out of them. So now Minya is calling out to Mama.
Who's still taking a nap.
on that rock. They start the experiment again. Let's hope we don't get the interference. The Hearst balloon goes off, and we do kind of a smash edit back and forth between the Kumonga getting close to Godzilla, or no, actually killing the Kamacuras with the stinger thing, and then moving closer to Minya, and then Godzilla shows up, and are they starting to get the interference there?
Yes, they still get the interference.
Oh, geez, not good. So anyway, they managed to pull the mission off with the interference, and they seed the cloud, and it's a dark cloud now. And they use the spray, the iodide spray, and it looks like everything is working the way it should.
Actually, I think they found a way to shield their equipment from the radiation. I think that's why it went off this time. I think that's what what they were setting up, some sort of anti-radiation thingy.
Okay.
I think so, if I remember correctly.
But it's going off without a hitch this time. And Godzilla zaps Kumonga, who tries to spray his goo all over Godzilla. And again, that has worked before for Mothra. Mothra was able to cocoon him up.
Right, yeah.
But Godzilla's learned. So he zaps right at the web, so that he destroys the web before he even gets on him. And again, when he gets a moment, he's going to zap Kumonga and flips him over. There he goes. There he zaps him. But he's still spewing. And Godzilla goes down, and the cloud gets darker. Hey, look, it's working. I think that's an actual line from the American dub. Hey!
I think so, yes.
My gosh. They must have pulled it off. There he goes. There he's zapping the web so that he can get away with it. He can get out of it. And
yeah, Minya finally is able to shoot his own atomic breath.
Right.
And they both zap Kumonga here.
Individually, yeah. That's the whole thing, is that Kumonga goes over here, but then he comes back up. And then they realize, we got to use our atomic breath together to set him on fire, to blow him up. And he zaps Godzilla in the eye with the stinger, which was not nice. Yeah, 12. There's 9 people in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 people in that little raft. And it starts to snow. And they got their parkas on in the Pacific like a bunch of idiots. I mean, I've seen people at the beach in Asia in suits, in dresses. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Protect us from the sun.
Yeah. And apparently they had an extra one because, she's wearing one.
She's got one.
Conveniently.
And Goro, right?
And Goro, yes.
So they had at least 2 extra ones. Thank you, wardrobe department, for not figuring that out. You should have dressed him with something different. Too much thinking it over.
Yeah.
We're overthinking it.
Overthinking it, yes.
Okay, so it starts snowing, and Kumonga flips back over and attacks Godzilla. And last surge, and Godzilla zaps it, and it doesn't stop Kumonga. And then Godzilla realizes it's going to take the combined breath power of my son and I to kill this kaiju. And that's what happens. They zap it together, and then it dies and burns up.
Yep, there goes.
Come on, Minya. There we go. Double shot. And she burns up. And hey, look, we got a little fire here. It's getting cold. We're lizards. We'll hibernate. So then the submarine shows up. Yay! And it's the Seahawk. I thought that ship had been destroyed by Godzilla. I think it is actually. Does it say 347 on the side?
547.
Oh, 547. I think the Seahawk is 347. I think. I could be wrong about that. I should go back and double check that. All right, so Godzilla's trailing off, and Minya is trying to follow behind, but falls down. Godzilla goes back and grabs Minya and gives her a nice big hug. Oh, poor baby. And then it's like, yeah, you know what? To hell with it. Let's hibernate. They'll be fine. Oh, yeah, Goro does have something different on. I'm sorry. He had a yellow parka.
Right, yes.
Or a yellow raincoat.
I think he brought that with him.
Yeah.
But
So they just Dr. Kasumi probably gave her his spare.
Mm-hmm.
And the people are trying, the guys on the submarine are trying to talk to them, and they're like, hey, we're watching Godzilla freeze. Hold on.
Exactly.
And there it is. I mean, that's the last thing we see of Godzilla in the movie. She holds her baby and they freeze together. Aww. And there's some nice little music. Na 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 na. And it's a tropical island covered in ice now. Woo! Dun 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 dun. And it becomes Cold Miser's house. I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. So that's the end of the film. I tickle myself. And Son of Godzilla. It takes the series into a different direction, where Minya makes it more for kids. Anastasia's back! Yay!
There she is. There's Miss Anastasia.
I've been here the whole time. I just didn't want to, I didn't want to annoy, but I'm listening. Just continue.
No,
I didn't mean to. I was listening to
with
your
a couple of
genius.
questions.
Yes,
No.
we're never annoying. No, we want you to. We miss your lovely face.
Not at
Well,
all.
that means so much to me. I've learned so much through this one. And, Roland, I didn't think this one was so subpar. I wanted to say the thing is, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very exciting and adventuresome, good pacing. I love the monsters. So, to me, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this year was the year they actually decided, okay, we're just going to market to the kids now. Godzilla was nicer to people, and we had Minya for the kids. And again, that year was the year that they did the first season of Ultraman. So obviously, the monster fighting and stuff was for the kids now. And you're right. I mean, it looks like $1 million, even though they were on a very shoestring budget. So they actually did a good job making it look professional, even though. And the human story in it is different, which I like. It's not the usual cast of characters trying to help the kaiju, and they've got a mission to do, by gosh. And they're going to do it despite the fact that there's monsters all around them. So there it is. Yeah. The next one is the Big Mamu, Destroy All Monsters. It was supposed to be the last Godzilla film. They decided to just shoot the wad, as we say, roll the dice, and do one giant last picture with all the monsters, and that was going to be the end. And then they're like, "Hey, we made money. Let's do some more." and then was like, let's see. After Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla's Revenge, which they did on like no budget, and used a lot of the same stuff from this movie for that island stuff. Then Hydra, Gigan, Megalon. They did 7 more pictures before finally shutting her down for 10 years. So we've got 7 more pictures in this season. Well, we're going to do 25 episodes of season 1. We got 7 more pictures to do. So in 7 weeks, your season 1's over. And the next one's going to be the Big Mamu, Destroy All Monsters. So I hope you guys tune in for that one. I don't know if we're going to have any guests on there. I'll probably invite some of our usual friends to come and be on that show with us next week. But thank you, Anastasia, for what you do here and keeping the show rolling forward smoothly. And thank you, Professor Walnutt. You're always a joy to do the show with.
Thank you, sir.
Your commentary is much fun.
Very knowledgeable. Thank you so much.
All right. So let's call it a night, and I hope you enjoy this show.
Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Thanks.